All right, so I'm going to use this Mr. Long's SQL booklet thing. So our basic select. Remember, after the select is all the fields that you want to display from. Basically, what you'll do is you'll look all the fields you want to display and all the fields you'll need in your where clause, and you have to see where those fields are from, and then all those tables needs to be listed here. There's different ways to do the link, and I'll show you that, but easiest to startup way is just each table you need, that table, comma, that table, comma, that table, just add them there. All right, I've got this one. Then they just showed us here some examples. Right, so I'll select star. This is for when you want all fields to be displayed from this table, or you can select a specific field, comma, and the other field. So when you've got more than one field to display, you'll use a comma to separate them. And then you can have a where clause. So the where is like, which row do you want to display? If you can remember how this works, this basically goes row by row and it checks like where the genre is rock. So it will take the first row and see, is the genre rock? No, it's not, so it won't. Then it goes to the next one. Then we'll see, is this genre rock? And this alternative rock is not actually rock, so it won't show that one. Because when you do genre equals, it must be exactly this word. So you're looking for that exact word. So it's not that one. And you go line by line. And what I mean with that, if we expanded this one, and I said select star from CD, where genre equals rock and genre equals pop, which ones would I see? What do you who wants to take a chance? All right. No, so I said, yeah, I said select star from CD where genre equals rock and genre equals pop. Sorry, somebody soft. Well done. I agree 100%. Because remember that's what I just tried to explain to you guys. Remember we go record by record and we check. So now if you say select star from CD where genre equals rock and genre equals pop. Is this one rock? No, it's not. Is it pop? Yes, it is, but it's not rock and pop. So it's not that one. Even if you go this one. Is this genre rock and pop? No, it's not. It's only rock. So if you go where genre equals rock and genre equals pop, you won't see any of them actually. Because none of them. Say again? Yes. Yes. The and part. Let me just quickly open a Word document here. So no, the and is the wrong one. Let me just see. I hope I can copy this nicely. Yeah, I did nicely. Yes. So for this, but the one I asked you guys now was with that, and then you go and genre equals pop. So in this case, we won't actually see any of them because none of them, the genre is rock and pop. What you would have rather wanted, if I went and I said or, if I went or, what would I see then? Which one of these ones would I see now? Yes, so now I'll see all three of these ones. So, so this, so this one will never work. It's impossible. This stupid thing. Yeah. Yes. So this is an impossible one. This could never work. All right. So no. So and will work if you sort of when this could maybe work is, and then I'm going to answer one day's question as well, is if you had the like part in. So if I went where genre is like, let's say, a rock, and then we had our, what is our thing? Is it a percentage? Just, yeah, I think it was percentage. Just, so, well, it doesn't need to be on both, but yeah, it could be. I'm going to explain this a little bit in more detail just now. But if we went this route, where let's start from CD, where genre like rock and where genre like pop. Now, if there was something, if one of these ones, so in this case, it would still show nothing. But if there was one that said like um pop rock or something, then we'll see this. Or if there was a record where the genre, anywhere inside, it had the word pop and it had the word rock. So the key thing with this is once you've got and, it means this field and this field. So which is genre the whole time. So we're just looking there. And that piece must have both of these words in. That's what the and does. And it looks only at one record at a time. So we're taking one record and seeing, does that comply to this rule? So where genre is rock, so it takes only the first record and sees, is this genre rock? No, it's not. And then it would go through until it got to this one, and then it only looks at this one and says, is this genre rock? And then that's fine. So like that's how this one could work, because now I'm checking only one of them, and I'm seeing, is this genre a rock or a pop? And it is a rock, so then it's fine. So the or is good. So generally, when you're working with the same field, you don't want and. Very seldomly the and will work. So, but they're going to ask you, they can ask you nasty questions. So no one needs to take note, and the rest of you, not so much. But I love when I do my papers, no one and Radia will most probably get a question where I'm going to say, please show me all the artists where the genre is rock and pop. So I'm going to phrase my question like that because I want to see all the artists for rock and pop. So I'm going to like deliberately put the and there, and I might even bold the and, say, listen, I want both of these two. But then this is not the answer. This is the answer. Because by doing this, when we look at them, when I look at this one, and then I look at the genre, is this genre a rock or a pop? Yes, it is a pop, so I'm going to see that one. Then when I get to the next one, I'm going to ask, is this one a rock or a pop? Yes, it is, so I'm going to see that one. So now I'll actually get the right answer. I'll get all the pops and rocks with a query that had an or, because you only can compare one line at a time. We're not looking at the whole table in total. And I think this could help you with a lot of your queries forward. If you remember that these selects works only with one line at a time. We look at one line and then basically the SQL will determine if that line should be displayed or not. Winner, I'm not sure if I answered your question. Did I clarify yours? All right, probably. Everybody's still there. It's very quiet now. So, all right. Okay, cool, cool. All right. So, ands and ors, everybody's good with that one now. That's the main one I wanted to show you, and I just wanted to emphasize that these statements goes line by line, each record individually. So I forgot about these things on the other side. So this one could have generally been better if you wanted where, let me just put it there again. So if we didn't have that, if we went back to our original with the equals, but then if it rather was another field, if that thing's too long, what's this one? Owner, something of owner. So I'm just going to say if the, probably owner ID, I think. But then when you go owner ID is equal to 5. See, now and is decent because now it's going to take the one record and it's going to check, is this one, is the genre rock? No, it's not. So because this answer, it's going to skip it and goes to the next one. Is this genre rock? Yes, it is. Is the owner 5? Yes, it is. And then it will display. So now both conditions are true. So with the and, you must, both of them must be true for you to see that line. And then it will go to the last line and see, is the genre rock? Yes, it is. Is the owner 5? No, it's not. So you won't see it. So that particular one, you'll only see this one line for this one. Yes. Yes, 100%. So an equal sign and the like is actually exactly the same. You could do that also if you want to. Like has got a little bit more functionality. So if you want to, if you do it like this one and the one with the equals is identical, same thing, same results, nothing changes. But when you do like, you will have the option of adding a percentage if you wanted to. What the percentage is, they call this a wildcard. So the percentage means anything can be in front. So suddenly if I did this, so this one, if I look at this first one, 14 shades of gray, the alternative rock, would not be displayed because even though I go with genre like rock, and you'll see rock there, but it's not, the whole thing is not rock. So you won't actually see that one now. But once I just add the percentage here, this means whether genre like, and then anything, as long as it ends with the word rock. And you'll see there, it's alternative, which is fine, anything can be in front, but it ends with the word rock. So now suddenly, because I used like, I can add the percentage, which will also now show me this one. So I will also see this one. And then just to clarify that one piece, we had to put percentage front and back. So there's jobs for them, if I can say it. If it's in front, it means anything can be in front. If it's not at the back, this basically means this word must end with the word rock. If I went and put the percentage only at the back, what this would do is it means it must start with the word rock, and then there can be anything. So if I had this one, this 14 shades will not be displayed because it didn't start with the word rock. And then, but with these ones, if I go percentage at the back, I will still see this rock because percentage means there can be something, but it's not there must be something. So rock is fine. It's not a must for something should be at the back. And the same with the one in front. I will still see this one. A rush of blood will still be displayed because the word rock is there. And anything can be in front, it ended with that. So percentage means you could have something there, but it's not compulsory. And then the option, obviously, if you, sorry, say again. Yes. So just look at the question though. So this one, if the question asked you, but they will always give you sample outputs as well. So if you see, this is the original table. You'll see if you go to a question paper right to the bottom, they give you like two-page addendum with how the table looks. And if you see this there, and then when they run the question, and you'll see, and you only see this piece here, then you know But the question will most probably be phrased, only show the artists and CDs where the genre is rock. And they might even say, do not include alternative rock. Then you know it must be like that. If you do this, that's perfect. You'll get all the marks. So that will be a full marks answer, and that will be a full marks answer. So that part doesn't matter. But if they asked for only the ones with rock and you go and you put the percentage there, you might actually lose a mark. Because now you're saying we can include everything that only starts with the word rock. And they specifically asked for only the ones with rock only. So it depends on your question. But yes, by substituting the equals with a like won't make a difference. It's just when you add the percentage when it was not needed. That might cost you a mark. All right. All right. And the percentages, everybody good. So if I add one to front and back, that means there could be anything in front and there could be anything at the back. That means this word rock must just be somewhere inside. Then it's fine. And SQL is not case sensitive. So if I went rock, that is also perfect. You'll get still, it will work perfect. So SQL is not case sensitive. It doesn't care about capital letters and small letters anyway. Even with this genre, if you yes, spelling, yes. Because oh yeah. Yes, no, so even with this one, if I go like this, so what is nice, if you do this, if you misspell the field, you'll see if you play it, a pop-up box will actually come up and it will ask you to give a value for this genre. It's like a pop-up box will come, it's like an input box, and will ask you to enter a value for genre. And then you must know, H, my field is misspelled. Um, Unfortunately, if you misspell rock, um, like that maybe, then yeah, you'll just not see anything because now it's going to look for the word rock, which it won't find. So when you're doing the values and you misspell it, you just won't get the right answer. At least when the fields are misspelled, you won't necessarily get an error, but it will sort of show you. Just if you see that input box asking you for a value for a field, then you must know that field is misspelled. And then you must just go fix it. Yes. So yeah, spelling is very important. So unfortunately. All right. No. Okay. So actually, when we're marking, um, spelling is not important. Obviously, don't go like all out like crazy. But if it's just like with rock, you maybe went that route, you'll probably get full marks still. So obviously, for you running it, you can't see that it's working. You won't know, and for me personally, it's like a type of OCD thing. Hey, this thing is not working. But if you do just a small spelling mistake, that's fine. Even throughout your whole paper, if they ask you to display something, you don't need to. Sometimes they ask you to show like a error message or just a welcome message or congratulations, it's solved message or whatever. That spelling, don't worry too much about that. If the message is like very closely related to what they wanted, and then they accept it. They don't check spelling at all. We don't care for spelling, except obviously if it's key things. I mean, if you've got a variable and you misspell it, it's a problem because now you're not referring to the same variable. Some markers might maybe not pick it up, but generally they would. So yeah, so spelling doesn't matter as long as it doesn't break your code. And in like a SQL, if it's a small spelling mistake, they'll most of the time just give it. So um, it, but okay, I say that now. What they do sometimes do is as soon as you make a spelling mistake, let's say genre you misspelled, they will take off a mark because now this is not going to work. So they're going to take off a mark. But then they say there's a cross and they say spelling. So if you now in your next one also misspelled it again, you'll actually get the marks there. So worst case, you'll be penalized 1 mark for spelling throughout a whole question. So if you misspell something once in SQL, all your other spelling mistakes won't. So you might maybe be penalized, but at most 1, and then that will count for all the SQL questions. And then only when you get to a next question, then you might again get leeway of 1, and then everything else is free fall. So try not to, but it's not critical, and especially if it's in the value part, we generally don't penalize. The penalization comes with when it's the actual code part that you misspell. Then you lose 1 mark for the first spelling mistake, and then the rest you should get. All right. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Long question. Where's the chats again? All right, let's go on with this. Cool. Different types of criteria. All right, so when we're working with numbers, you can go equals. There's your not equals. So it's a smaller than, greater or equal to, less than. Okay, we'll see that one now. And then just equals for Boolean. Oh, all right. I didn't actually even know that you could less than if it's a character. All right, that's interesting. All right, so I didn't know that either. Never needed to be used before. I'll show you how to do a list. Generally, I use the list for stuff like this when you want letters A to E. But yeah, apparently you can go less than. Okay, that's interesting. But okay, yeah, smaller than, bigger than, not equal to. Important here, if you want to say something is greater or equal to, or less than or equal to, remember the equal sign should always be second. It's sort of like when we talk, we'll say this value is greater or equal to 220. So the greater than sign must be first, then the equal sign. So if you swap it around, you'll actually get an error. So it needs to be that way around. In our where, here's our and and or. I wonder if he does have more than one. All right, so order of operation. The and is more important than the or. The and is seen as a multiply. So if we take this piece that you typed there, basically what this means is that you could sort of see that there's brackets there and there. These brackets are just inserted is because of the and. So what it will do, it will first do these two because a and takes preference over the or. A and is like a multiply, if you say it like that, and your or is like a plus. So it will first do this and get the answer if this is true or false, and then look at this particular one. So if we look at this one we've got here, so how this would work. Remember, we go line by line. So it will take the first line, and it will say, is the genre jazz? Yes, it is. And the replacement value is 150. Replacement value is not 150. So and means this and this needs to be true. But now only the one is true. So the brackets answer here is actually false now. Because this is true and this is false, but and means both needs to be true for it to become true. So this answer is a false. And then it says, or genre must be rock, genre is not rock. So this is also false. So we will not see the first one. All right, if I just skip to, if we go to this one, it will check, is the genre jazz? No, it's not. So this is already a false. And an and with false will always be false. But then is the genre rock? And it's also not. So that's still false. Then we go next one. Yeah, is the genre jazz? No, it's not. So that's a false. So this whole thing is a false automatically because of the and. But the or says, is the genre rock? And the genre is rock. So because the genre is rock, it doesn't matter because this thing needs to be true or all of this needs to be true. But this is already true. So we will actually see both of these two being displayed in this line because both of them is rock. So then we don't actually care what's happening here because it's an OR. This or this needs to be true, and this is already true. So then that's good. All right, everybody's sort of okay. So if you want to, when you're writing it, I would say use brackets. Then you save. This explanation I did now, you'll only need maybe in your theory paper when they give you an SQL and they ask you to explain. But that I cannot foresee that happening. That hasn't happened in most of the papers I saw. I can't actually remember that ever happened. And so generally you'll write your own SQLs. And if you feel these should be grouped, just put it in brackets. Whenever you've got more than one condition and you want to group them, please use brackets. Then you don't need to worry about order of precedence. Then, all right, that's that part. Okay, then the not operator. So a not, you'll see, is the same as the not equals to. So if the genre is not pop, or if the replacement value is not greater than 100. So you'll have a normal condition, but you'll just put not in front. So the not just goes in front. Whatever this answer is, it basically just reverses the answer. And then we do get our between operator. So between, it's a nice one. It makes it a bit shorter. But personally, I don't ever use the between. I'll say where replacement value is greater than 120 and replacement value is smaller than 150. And then I'll get that. So yes, I just like using greater than, smaller than, and just make up my own one with the and. However, for the between, remember it's inclusive. Yes. Ask me. Yes, you can. Yeah. Um, you'll be surprised. The not actually comes in quite handy, even though you want to do this. Like sometimes they'll say, okay, yeah, you can always use that, but you'll see sometimes there's a nice purpose to not. I actually use it a lot. So you can. Yes. Yeah, you can go like not there, and then it's this whole thing, and then just not. Yeah. Yeah. Is null is important. Is null is for a blank field, an empty field. Because we can't say, even in this example where they had, like with this one, let's say this field, there was nothing there. I wonder if I can delete this though. No, okay, never mind. But let's say that value wasn't there, it's a blank space. If I say there is null, then I'll see that one. But sometimes if there's a value of 0 there, let's say the replacement value is 0 for this thing, and I use the is null, I won't actually get it because 0 is a value. 0 has actually got a quantitative, because 0 is greater than -1. So 0 has actually got a like an actual value to it. So then you'll look for if the replacement value is equal to 0. But sometimes what you want to do is you want to see, let's say somebody is absent. And there's just like a blank, and then you'll use the is null. Is null will tell you if that area has been left empty. So then you can't go where artist is equal to and then just quotes. So you can't do that, unfortunately. You have to use the is null part to see if a field is empty or not. All right, and here's the in one. That's the range thing I was speaking about. So I love this in part where you can give it a list. So you can say where the replacement value is in, and then 100 or 120 or 150. So now it will show you, it's basically the same as where replacement value is equal to 100 or replacement value is equal to 120 or replacement value is equal to 150. If you go that route in the exams, you will also get the marks. They're not going to force you to use the in. It's just very tedious, and the chance of you making a mistake is a problem, and then you're using more time. So you might not have enough time for everything you want to do. So the in really saves you time, but you won't be penalized for it. Like in this case here, if you said where genre is equal to rock, or genre equals jazz, or genre equals pop, same answers, same marks, you'll get all the marks. You just wasted time doing that. So the in really helps if you've got a list. So you just say where the field is in, bracket, and then you just list the one value, comma, the other value, comma, other value, comma, other. If it's text, obviously in quotes. If it's numbers, no quotes. If it's Boolean, no quotes. And yes, that's, and then if it's dates with your hashes. Um, yeah, all right. So then our next part. Okay, now where clause? Oh, here's the like. So you'll see the star. See that? Put the star here. So it depends. You got yes. Talk to me. No, it will be regarded as a zero one. So you must then, if if you do leave it empty and the table fills it with a zero for you, that is because Access is doing it. So, but your database has got a value. So your is null will actually not return anything. You'll have to then go and say equals to zero, and then you'll get there. So yes, if it gets auto-filled with a zero, unfortunately, then is null is not working. Then you must do the equals zero because it does have a zero value to it, not a emptiness value. Yeah, if you can say it like that. All right. No, wait, there is null and the equals null equals zero. No, so they're not both correct. There's specific times. So if I wonder if I've got another database. Let me just think. Yeah, let's take this one. So let's say delete that. Put there as zero. All right, no problem. All right. So you'll get, if you look at this table of mine, if I do the is null, I'll only get Cedric. And if you do the equals to zero, you only get Gerda. So there is definitely there's a big difference. So only the one will work in some cases. So the question will most probably go the route of there are people in the table that did not enter their ward ID. Please list all the names of the people who omitted or declined to enter their ward IDs. And then you want to see all these people. So this person did actually enter a ward ID, but the ward ID was zero. So her question would probably go something like, there are some people in the table who entered a zero for their reward number. Please list them or something. So these two are two different things, and you cannot actually see. Well, you can force it. You can say where the ward ID is null or ward ID is equal to zero. Then you'll see both of them. But yes, so that is your null one and that is your zero one. So, and they are different. You won't see the same result. So if you use the incorrect one, you'll actually lose marks because yeah, it's the wrong one. Right. Um, right then, jump up. Okay, then you'll see with this one, they use the star. In our case, we use the percentage. So the star, it depends which program. You know, you guys already wrote your theory, so your DBMS software, database management software, and we're using Access. So Access loves the percentage. But some other database programs are using a star. So this star is the same as the percentage, and it's a wildcard for any amount of characters. There is a question mark one as well. Um, I never saw it in one of your papers though. This one did pop out with one of the IEB papers so far. But with DBE, I haven't seen this yet. But what the question mark does, it allocates one character. So you can put any character you want there, but it must be one. So it will look for like this one. It's going to look for an artist where it's got a four-letter name. So it must be an M and then any other three characters. So this is where the artist has a M as a first character and then three other characters. In other words, the artist is in any four-letter beginning with a M. So it forces you must have four characters, and the first one must be an M. The other three can be anything as long as they are something. Yes. Yes. They, then you won't see that one. Yes. Yeah. All right. Then sorting. I think sorting is relatively straightforward. This sequence is important though. Something I want you to take note of as well. It's always select with your fields, and you'll only have one select. Some people, for some reason, really want to say select something and then later on select again. So we do have a query inside a query, and I'll explain that later, a nested SQL statement. But it's not this. What I mean is, so you only have select once, you'll only have one from, only have one where, and then that sequence must be select first, then the from, then the where, and then the order by. Order by generally is last, so you'll see we're going to get some other stuff that's going to pop in before it. But the order by is then to sort it for us. And then by default, it is ascending. But if you add a DESC at the end, it will become descending. So examples like this one, order by replacement value. So this would automatically be ascending. So from small to big, the replacement values. But we can also go order by genre ASC, then it will also be genre ascending. If you add it, it's fine. Was it needed? No. This is automatically ascending. But when you add it, sometimes some people just feel safer to say it and then go for it. But if you, yes, no, no, not at all. None of the SQLs, nothing in a SQL statement is case sensitive. Must be capitals. Okay, I don't know why he said that. It doesn't need to be. So he said this. I think it's good programming practice to have order by in capital letters and to have that in capital letters, but it doesn't need to be. Okay, it can be small letters. Small letters works fine. Is that your question, Pavan? Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. You'll see what I'm quickly doing here. So you can go select star from CD and then order by genre. That's perfect. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Well, okay. So let me answer that one. Let's go up again. So this would work if we had one. Let's just do this thing again. So we can go. So let's start from that. This we said this is fine. Now let's just do this part. So let's add that. So let's start from CD, where genre is rock. So how this works, um, and I can sort it by just because we can. Let's choose artist. Artist. And I could even display the CD name. All right, so let's say we add that one. So this would be fine. So we're saying, show me all the CD names. So it will only show me CD names from this table. Where the genre is rock, so it will look at the genres, look for the rocks. So now we'll only have these ones there. And then it will order it by the artist in ascending. So ascending is, okay, it's exactly how it is actually. So it's alphabetically C first and then the M. So we'll see exactly that sequence. If I added the TSC in small letters, just to show that we can, just because I want to, it will actually show absolution first and then a rush of blood to the head. Even like that. Yes, 100%. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So, oh, all right. Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So with this one, your where clause will always determine which rows are you going to see. And after your select clause, it will tell you which columns will you see. But everything is still there. So your order buys and all that other stuff that's there will then still follow sort of like all the information that's there. But then at the end, you'll only see these rows and these columns of these rows. So they don't need to be the same. They don't even need to be from the same table for that matter, as long as they're related, sort of. And we'll get to that just now. But yes, so you can show the one field and order it by another field and then limit it by another field. And that's fine. So your question will sort of state those things. And it will look funny now because we're going to have an absolution first, even though we went descending. And you'll think AB should be before A and a space maybe, or whatever. But then it's not sorted by CD name. It's sorted by the artist's names. So, yeah. 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 Okay. So with this one, so order by, let me just see. Let's see, we had artist ascending, ascending, um, then by um, CD name descending. So there's different questions it could go. If your first one is ascending and then the next one should be descending, once you've got more than one, I suggest always write what's happening. It's just gonna be better for you. But if you are really lazy and you want to do like the most efficient thing possible, this particular one would go, so we want artist ascending, and remember I said initially it is ascending, so you just say artist. And remember these words, the order by, the where, the from, the select, you only write once. So we're not going to do order by again. You just go comma. Then the next one is CD name. So you go CD name, but then this one must be descending. So then you're going to say DESC. So this would be fine for this question. So it would go ascending by artist. And how this works, so it will sort it by the artist. And only if there's two artists with the same name, then it will look at the CD and go descending. Sometimes some people get confused with this and they think it's not working because the CDs aren't descending. But this second half only happens if the artist name is the same. If there's a duplicate here, then it looks at this one. Okay. All right. If this was swapped around, though, if the artist needs to be descending and then the CD ascending, then your artist you needed to say descending. And now for the CD name, you must say ascending though. Because as soon as it's descending, if you didn't state this one, CD name would also be descending. It's sort of like you set the default to descending now, and now all the fields after that will be descending. So if you wanted both of them descending for some apparent reason, say that was also descend, then you could do it this route. Then this is fine. Because as soon as you made it descending, then it's automatic. Then everything after that is also descending. But by default, initially it's ascending, and then it goes from there, and then this one. So this one we have to say ascending to make it work good. All right, everybody got it. So to save yourself effort from forgetting, I want to say once you need to sort by two fields, always just state what you want. Just say this thing ascending, that thing descending, or this thing ascending and this thing ascending. Then you sort of covered yourself. Then you don't need to worry about what to wear and something less to study. Um, for me, yeah, I've been doing it like forever. So for me, it's now just so straightforward. It's always ascending until you make it descending. Then it's descending from there on until you make it ascending again. And but yeah. All right, sorting, good. Yes, asking. Like this one. Okay, so theoretically how it works, it actually works with you guys in school. So in school, the sorting would be by surname, then by name. That's how your class lists are printed. So I don't know. So how it would be, it's alphabetically according to surname. But once there's two people with the same surname, it looks at their names to see who must go first or second. And that's what's happening here. So they'll basically say, sorted by the artist names. But now, if you get to an artist where he's got like 5 CDs, then, so if it's the same artist, then look at the CDs and do them alphabetically, for argument's sake. So then you'll have a one where it's the artist must be ascending, and then by CD ascending. So that's the more common one that you'll see, because now with this one, it will actually go sort by artist names, and every time you get like 5 CDs from the same artist, it would go to the CD name and just list them alphabetically. Got it. All right. Yes, ask me. All right. Sorting, I think sorting we sorted now. The word distinct. So just after select, you add the word distinct, and that is if you don't want to see duplicates. So, and what this one does, you'll see that's why it's in the select part. You only see duplicates of the ones that's displayed. So if you go select distinct genre from CD, that means I don't want to see more than one genre that's the same. So in this case, we'll see jazz, we'll see alternative rock only once. It will skip this one basically. Then we'll see pop, then we'll see rock, and it will skip this one. Because the select says only display this. So only if the records that's displayed is identical, then you won't see it again. But if you, let me just see if they went like this one, select distinct genre, comma, artist from CD. Now suddenly we're seeing this column together with this column. So now it will say LL Cool J Jazz, which is fine. It will say Stained Alternative Rock, and it will say Google Dolls Alternative Rock. So now you'll see both of them. Because the whole record, Stained Alternative Rock and Google Dolls Alternative Rock, is not the same thing. Sorry, if I mute a bit, I'm sneezing. so if I go quiet, that's happening. Then Celine Dion pop's fine. Coldplay rock you'll see, and then Muse rock you'll also see because of the artist part. The record that's being displayed is not identical anymore, and that's why you'll see both of them. All right, so everybody got the distinct. Distinct is also relatively easy. They will tell you. The question will say, do not show duplicates. When you see that, highlight it or underline it or whatever that in the question paper, then you remember, after select, just put the word distinct and then carry on as usual. And distinct only happens once. You'll say you select distinct and then you list all the stuff you want to show. This order doesn't matter or anything. You just sort of list it in the same order as what the sample output is. And then that's fine. But you just add this word, do not, sorry, say again. Yes, 100%. Straight after the word select, you put distinct, and then you carry on as usual. So whenever you see this thing where they say, do not show duplicates, you go select distinct, and then you read the rest of the question. You just carry on. Yeah. No, all three. That's what I try to explain here now. No, no, no. So unfortunately, how distinct works, it looks at the whole record that's being displayed. And only if the whole record is unique, then you won't see it. Like with this one, I want to trying to see if I can get, let's say this one, 57255 again, 256. Just move that one away. So let's say if we only look at these two columns, let's say I display these two and then I use the distinct part. So what it will do, it will show me the first one because that's like the first one. Then it will show me the MRC with this. But then the next MRC, can you see the next MRC's word ID is exactly the same. So I won't see this third line. But the fourth line, this MRC, he's 57, he's got a different word ID. So I will actually see this one as well. So I'll see line 2 and line 4, I will see if I only display these two with distinct. So if you only display this one, with distinct. We'll see MRC only once. You'll see this once, you'll see this once, then we'll jump down to this once, we'll jump down to wherever next, like this. So you'll only see everything once. But once you do distinct with two columns, it looks at both of them in conjunction. You can't force it into one, but the question won't be like that either. So you don't need to worry. They will never ask that. So they will say just they don't want to see duplicates. And then whatever fields you're displaying, you won't see a duplicate of the complete record. If you understand what I'm saying. Of the complete. All right. Yes. Your distinct will never include the primary key. Yeah. No, no, that would never happen. They can ask it, but then it's not going to make a difference. You'll still see everything. Yeah. Yes. All right. Then our next one, we do get calculations. I think you guys did speak about that, and that's the one we're going to do just now also. I think the query we had. So where it actually asked us to do some calculations with whatever. So they can ask you to just work out. Okay, it's not a nice one. Let's see this. Maybe this no. Oh yeah, population. So they can maybe say um, display the estimated population for next year for each area, and they say you can assume the population will increase by 10%, and then you can say so. Then you literally you do a just go yeah. See if they wanted you to display. Let's say they said only display future value. So you'll go select because it's a display, and then now we want to use population. So our population, obviously, and they said it will increase by 10%. So now I must just think what I tell my students in class. Say take out the calculator and what would you type in there if you want to increase it by 10%? And then, so I want to say mathematically, you must first know how would you do it in maths. Different ways. You can do the times 1.1, or you can do the times 10, divide by 100, plus population again. Um, so to get the 10% and then add it to the original, some people will go times 110, divide by 100 and not have that. So it really doesn't matter. All 3 or 4 or 5 different ways that you can do that is perfect. I personally love the 1.1 part, just shortest. But yes, however you would increase population by 10% is perfect. And then they'll generally say, they said this must be like, call it future value. So we're going to do the as. So you'll always use the as if you want to give it a name. As future population. Um, and then what's this? Stable words. Words. So it would just look like that. So you can do any type of calculation. They could, let's say they said the question was the future population would be the population plus the ward ID. Let's say for some obscure reason, the ward ID is the amount of people it would increase by. Then you'll just say where population plus the ward ID. And then this must be called future population from table wards. And then it would add those two and put it in this new column called that. And that would be fine. So you can do any type of calculation, add, subtract, multiply different fields or with fixed values or whatever. So what the as does, as is actually giving a name. So whenever you do a calculation. Because what we're essentially doing, we're creating something new. We had a field that had a value. Now we're changing that value. So we're getting a new value. And that's where as comes in. So as is giving a name to a field, basically, to a column. You can even like these ones what we did when we said here select CD name from there. You could, if you wanted to, say as and then compact disk name. You could have done that even if you wanted to. So what as just does, it will give the thing before it. You're saying this field, give it this name when it's displayed. So when you display it, you see this. You didn't see this. So you're giving a new name to that field. But now generally, when you do a calculation, we cannot actually call this population or ward ID because it's adding the two. That's why you'll see whenever you do a calculation or whenever we do our aggregate functions, sum, max, min, those things, you always want to say as because you're calculating something new. So just give it a name. And that's where the as comes in. So as is giving this thing that answer this name. That's all it is. Yes. 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 Yeah. Yes. Because this actually becomes a field. When you do this, you'll get a field with answers. So a whole column with answers where this answer, where this calculation is done. So this whole word, so it's going to add those two. So there'll be an answer there and there and there and there and there and there for each of those calculations. So and what you're now doing is you're just giving this, so it's not called field one, you're actually giving it a name. And we're going to call it future population. Yes. So on top here, it will say future population, and then it's going to have that those two added together the whole time. Yes. Yeah. Yes. That's what I did up here. Yeah. So like the CD name one, we can rename to compact this name if we want to. So as is basically to rename what's in front of it to the name behind it. And it can be existing field, or it can be a calculated field, or it can be an aggregate function. Anything in front you can rename to the thing that's behind it. Yeah. So I wonder if I can quickly, if I go here, let's quickly do a query here. So if I go select, I just want a nice one. Let's use this one. Canada ward ID. Let's just do this. So if I want to select the ward ID um, from table parties. See if I run this one. You see now I misspelled the thing. Ward ID is not there. Where I was looking. Table votes. So this is very small. Can you guys see there? I don't know. But yes, yeah, yeah. So you'll see there's my ward ID that I just displayed. So just to show you, if I go and did you see when I ran it on top here, it says ward ID. But now if I go and I just add the as there. Where's my no, insert? How did I click my insert in? I say as testing. Okay, so if I now select word ID as testing from there and I run it now, exactly the same values, but now it's just called testing. So that's all it does. You just give that field a new name. All right, everybody good? All right. All right, that's that one. Um, um, all right, so this was a query. Let me see if I can zoom more in. All right. Or we can, no, this is not, this is the answer. Um, what's that one? Yeah. Just gonna put it on the desktop. Right, let's look at this paper. Right, I think it was 2.1.4 if I remember correctly. 2.1.4. Alright, so they say lecturer salary is determined by the number of courses facilitated by that lecturer. An amount of 10,000 paid for each course facilitated by the lecturer. For example, if a lecturer facilitates 3 courses, the lecturer will get a total of 30,000. Display the lecturer ID and the total salary in a new column with the heading salary format to currency. Alright, so with this one, just go there. I'm going to do it there. So what you'll do is you'll go right down to where these tables are. And we just look. So we're looking for the lecturer ID and we're looking for how many courses they did. So that would be, here's the one table lecturers. That's just all the lecturers. And we can't actually see how many courses they're doing. With this next one, the table courses one, course ID, course name. There. So we've got lecturer ID and then the courses. So this would actually tell us, so do you agree the amount of times, every time I see the lecturer ID, that's a course. So you can see here this person TT663 is doing 2 courses there and another one here. So he's already doing 3. So this TT63 is doing the 3 courses already. All right, so what we do is the question said display. All right. So we have to display the lecturer ID. So display tells us it's a select. And we do lecturer ID. It's one word, so we don't need square brackets. And the total salary. So generally what I would do with this, I would go, so I want to see lecturer ID, so I go comma, then I'll put brackets because we know we're going to work something out. So I'll put brackets. I'm still going to do that. Then they said we must call it salary. See, there's your sample output and you can see the name is just salary. So then that means it will go as salary. And we saw this was in the table courses. Courses, thesis, I don't know, we can fix that spelling just now. Oh, from, I forgot my from. Okay, everybody with me. So I'm selecting that course ID and this thing that I'm going to work out, I'm going to put it in there, but as salary, because I want to call it salary and it's from that table. All right, now let's quickly go down. Let's go see what we can do with this thing. All right, I gave this. So do you agree? We want to count how many times each lecturer ID pops up here. So it's similar functions to Excel, but you need to know like functions we can use here, aggregate functions. There's a sum one. For sum, it will add up. So it will go 150 plus 50, that's 200. A sum does that. Or we get a count, which will count how many times something occurs. And that's actually what we want here. Do you agree? We want to count how many times something is happening. So we're going to do a count function here. Now count is nice in that in the brackets you have to say what you're counting, but you can put a star for count. Because do you agree, if I count the lecturer IDs, or if I count the online options, or if I count the max students, or if I count the duration, I'll get the same amount because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 values there. and there's 10 values there, and there's 10 values there, and there's 10 values there, and there's 10 values there. So with count is the exception. With count, you don't need to say which field, just put a star, because it doesn't matter which field you're counting. All of them will give you the same amount. And then the question said, for each one of them, you're going to get 10,000 Rand. So I'm going to times it by 10. No, it's going to be messed up again. 10,000. Everybody's still with me? Did I lose somebody so far? So the question was, and this is basically for a dynamic query. So I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to use, let's use an easy one, just to make our life. Let's take this one. Let's take this one. So with a dynamic query, basically what's going to happen is they will say something like this: show all the fields from this table where the user will say which genre he wants to see. So we're going to get an input in Delphi for what genre he wants to see, and he's going to also tell us what the owner ID must be. So what I suggest, generally, they will give you a sample. They'll say, okay, let's assume the guy types in rock, and let's assume the guy types in owner is 5. And then they'll show you sample output. My suggestion to you, use their sample ones as fixed values and put them in. And get this query sorted. So run it, make sure it works, make sure you can see the same as what they've got. Once you got this sorted, then you just follow a very simple rule. It's always, so there where the value was, there where we put the rock. Let me highlight this rather. So this piece and this piece. Because when it's text, the quotes matters. And when it's not text, the missing quotes matters. So what you do then, in that yellow space, in that yellow space, you go quote plus your variable name plus quotes. So this piece, you just replace in there and there. Whatever this variable is. So let's say this one was called genre, so but it's your variable name. So you'll just, these quotes will stay there, but then you'll just put your other quote plus the variable plus quote again to just make it work. And that's literally the only thing you do when you've got it. So you'll see with a single quote, that's that. You'll see as soon as you put a single quote there, it sort of ends the SQL. Yes. So this plus is the only time you'll only use it when you're using a variable. When you want to, and this, they call it, this is for dynamic SQL. So that you can have your Delphi code get the user's input, and then you take the user's input with a variable and just force it into your SQL.